Welcome to the Fear and Greed Daily Interview. I'm Sean Aylmer. When we talk about the e-commerce boom, you tend to think of retailers selling things online and sending them out to customers, online operators like Amazon or Kogan or bricks and mortar stores with a digital presence. But a huge amount of e-commerce actually happens in the business-to-business space. One of the biggest e-commerce players in the country is Ordermentum. The company connects hospitality venues like restaurants and cafes with wholesale suppliers, automating much of the process. Ordermentum is on track to generate $3 billion in gross merchandise value in the next 6 months. Adam Theobald is the CEO and co-founder of Ordermentum. Adam, welcome to Fear and Greed.
Sean, thanks for having me.
I kind of get what it does. I mean, sort of up front, I understand if I'm running a cafe, being able to use software to order everything seems to be much easier. But just walk me through the process. A cafe is running out of coffee beans, for example. What happens now or in the old days, and what does Ordermentum bring to it?
Yeah, Sean, absolutely. Look, I think the thing as a avid coffee cafe goer or as an avid participant in your local restaurant, we sometimes forget about just how many moving parts are behind the scenes. And look, previously that cafe that you mentioned has 10 to 15 different suppliers. They regularly have to order all their suppliers to get new goods. They'll order their coffee once a week, their bread once a day, their milk twice or three times a week, depending where they are. And the reality is that it's quite a complicated process. Every single supplier they deal with has a different way to receive that order. Sometimes the suppliers will call them in the middle of business when it's not convenient to the venue. So enter Ordermentum. We're an app that allows them to order on their terms, order when they want, pay when they need to, and manage all of those suppliers in a really nice and easy way. And I suppose the real benefit here is it's better for the venue, but it's also better for the supplier as well. It's a much easier way for them to manage all their orders.
Okay, so if I'm a cafe, how do I get onto Ordermentum? And then the same question is, how many suppliers do you have? Because presumably I can only access the suppliers that are already members of your cohort.
Yeah, that's right. Look, the traditional way of a cafe or a restaurant or any venue in the country joining Ordermentum, and there's 34,000 of them now, the traditional way is their supplier invited them. So we work with suppliers to streamline their ordering and payment, right? And in doing so, they invite all their customers to join. But more recently, because we've had so much success and momentum with the venues and the experience, we have venues now coming direct to us all the time and saying, hey, I want to trade smarter. I want it to trade on my terms. I want one app to do it all. Can I connect with you and start finding suppliers on the network? And that's absolutely something that we do. And it's something that's really accelerating at the moment.
34,000 sounds like a lot, but I'd imagine there would be hundreds of thousands of cafes, restaurants out there at the moment. And I know you're not the only player in this space as well. How much of the process is automated at the moment in the B2B space?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, look, we're really proud of 34,000 venues. We think it's a great number, and we're very thankful to our suppliers and venues for getting around Ordermentum. The truth is, we see the universe as about 100,000 venues currently. But the really interesting thing here is, whilst we might be 34,000 of those 100,000, the really interesting thing is that when you talk about suppliers, by our count, there's only about 10% of suppliers are using a digital solution to process the ordering and payment right now. And so it's really weird. Like we're 34,000 venues, we're approaching 35% of the industry on the venue side, but there's still so much more opportunity when only 10% of suppliers are using it right now. So we're really excited by just how much white space there is. And that's one of the many reasons why we've decided to just dedicate ourselves to Australia. We think the Australian hospitality scene is a fantastic opportunity for us as a business. We think it's got a huge need for a digital solution to help everyone. And we're just really excited about building long-term relationships for both suppliers and venues in this space.
I mean, the small businesses I've been involved in, the admin is burdensome. Surely this must take a lot of the paperwork, literally the paperwork out of it.
Oh, Sean, you're absolutely right. I mean, whoever said they would go and start a small business to start chasing money and filling out forms and BAS statements and all the drama that goes with it? And look, I actually liken the operators in the space, be it suppliers or venues, to myself. I mean, I'm a product guy. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm passionate about product and customers. I'm passionate about creating new technical solutions to meet their needs and do really, really great things for them so that they can spend their time more valuably elsewhere. And I think everyone in this space is the same. I mean, hospitality and food service, it's just built around customers. And all of a sudden they get into it and realize they're doing none of the customer stuff. And we've been really, really blown away by the momentum of digitization since COVID. People, I mean, you've probably seen it across the board in all of your podcasts and guests. You know, you regularly hear this story of, it was the wake-up call we needed. We needed to trade smarter. We realized we needed to digitize. We needed to spend our time in the high-value areas, not the noise. And lucky for us, Ordermentum is built to help in those moments. So look, we've been very lucky. We're very blessed to be, operating a space which needs a solution so much. And, we take it with great importance, the job we have to help the industry in a moment when it needs it.
Stay with me, Adam. We'll be back in a minute. My guest this morning is Adam Theobald, co-founder and CEO of Ordermentum. Okay, so I'd imagine COVID helped you. It certainly brought a lot of suppliers and vendors into 2022. The flip side, of course, is the supply chain challenges and the logistics challenges, and then you push that through to floods, which certainly hurt food, not just prices, but actually the quantity of food available. How did you handle that?
Oh, look, it's been an incredibly difficult 2.5 years for the industry, Sean. And, that real feast or famine. I still remember to this day walking around. I live in Balmain in Sydney, and it's known for its pubs. And I remember walking around at about 4:00, just after it was announced that the industry was going back into lockdown, and just the despair of these awesome operators who had just bought all these goods. They were excited about opening again. They were excited about welcoming back customers. And all of a sudden they're having to close again. And it's just been such a traumatic experience for everyone involved. I would say that there's been a very, very difficult sort of process in dealing with the feast or famine. And that goes with lockdowns through to the rapid shift to dealing with delivery for these operators. And look, our business is much the same. We've been, dealing with the work remote, dealing with the fact that our business and network could halve in any given moment for lockdowns and so forth. But what we saw was just the resilience, right? So through all this adversity, we saw a really big drop when the lockdowns occurred. We saw a really steady improvement in the operating environment until lockdowns were relaxed. The industry got back to it. The next setback occurred, they got back to it. And so what we found was it really accelerated the shift to two things. One, streamlining their business, but two, streamlining their payments was the big thing. We've seen the payment processing part of our product, which is a very, very big and important part of the value proposition for both suppliers and venues. That we saw 150% increase in usage of payments on the network. And so, we were really blessed with, I suppose, the result. It didn't always feel like it was going to come out that way, but I think it really was the shock, not only for the industry, but for us in terms of what we had to do to best service our network. And I think like all businesses, we all just came out of it knowing we needed to trade smarter.
Okay, just as you were talking there, it kind of occurred to me, if I'm a cafe and I need a lettuce, I need an iceberg lettuce, not that long ago they were worth $11. You would have had cafes going to suppliers buying iceberg lettuces. Where do you sit in that? Does Ordermentum help match supply and demand in that case?
Look, what we did was we helped our suppliers manage those price changes. We helped our suppliers manage the process of looking after their customers. We helped their customers see those price changes, manage their payments and trade smoother. There's no doubt we've seen an awful lot of price changes in the network over the last year especially. You bang on when you talk about more recently the impact of floods, the impact of logistics, just the changing operating environment around logistics has been incredible. We hear regularly from suppliers that, they've got half their drivers unavailable through to the most recent COVID outbreak even. It's just been really traumatic stuff. And then more recently, the impact on pricing through floods and so forth has been incredible. So look, what our job here is to bring transparency to the supplier and venue on the pricing, to allow them to make quick changes as required to deal with the operating environment, and to allow them to order and pay quickly and efficiently. And by providing those things, making sure everything's digital, everyone's best placed to deal with the changes that get thrown at them.
Okay, so what's next for Ordermentum? You did a $6 million capital raise this year. What's it mean for the company's expansion?
Look, that $6 million raise was a really exciting moment for us because it was the first financing round we did that wasn't out of a position of need. We're very thankful that through the pandemic and through the trials and tribulations, we focused a lot on the commercials of the business. We focused a lot on making sure we're financially resilient and focused a lot on ensuring we're well set up to scale into the future for the long term of this industry. So that $6 million round was a couple of things. Firstly, it was about keeping up with the demand in the network and ensuring that we had enough people in our team in Australia dedicated to supporting our suppliers. So we doubled our supplier success team and we really focused on how we can make sure we can support them to success over the next few years. The second thing is we've really doubled down on the venue product in our network. Our Ordermentum platform now is used by 34,000 venues, as I said. That's a lot of venues, and there's so much opportunity on how we can help them trade smarter, how we can make it more designed for their needs. We launched an insights product which helped them understand what they're spending, how they're spending it, where they're spending it. We've invested significantly in the payments product so that we can streamline the way they pay their suppliers and ensure that we are by far the best and fastest way to manage payments in the sector. And then more recently, we've focused on helping our venues find new suppliers. We've got lots of venues who are actively looking for fruit and veg suppliers today. How do we make it easier for them to connect with fruit and veg suppliers on our network that are not currently trading with or they're not able to? So look, I want to say it's keeping up with the demand, it's further streamlining, and it's just looking for really great ways to help the whole industry over the next 3 years.
Adam, thank you for talking to Fear and Greed.
Thanks for your time.
That was Adam Theobald, co-founder and CEO of Ordermentum. This is the Fear and Greed Daily Interview. Join us every morning for the full episode of Fear and Greed, Australia's most popular business podcast. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your day.